I went to North Carolina A&T. That's in Greensboro, North Carolina. I was able to receive a full scholarship, didn't have to pay for school at all. They gave me all baseball money, so it was open to me every single year, rain, sleet, or shine. That was a blessing, just to be able to walk on a university, a four-year university, and not have to pay for anything. A lot of hard work in high school, and a lot of sacrifices had to be made to get that scholarship. Went there, played for 3 years, all conference. I was a Louisville freshman All-American in the whole country of the USA my freshman year. Made all conference 3 times, first team. And then the St. Louis Cardinals selected me in the 26th round back in 2009. And that was pretty cool. Had a big draft party at my aunt's house, and just to have all your family, friends, coaches, and some of the news media there to hear your name selected was just beautiful for me. So played with the Cardinals for 2 seasons. 2011 I was released, and then I went directly into independent baseball, which is another semi-pro avenue of baseball. For the love of the game, just want to continue to play. 4 years later, I got an opportunity to be selected by the White Sox. They picked me up after a two-year All-Star campaign in the Frontier League of Independent Baseball. Said, hey, would you like to have another opportunity at the Major Leagues? I said, heck yeah, let's go. So the White Sox picked me up, and I knew I needed to get in shape for spring training, and what better way to do that than come back to play in the ABL. I was granted my wish, and here I am. Well, of course, Brisbane is like my second home, so I had to come back. Back in 2012, I had the opportunity to come play club ball for the Redlands Baseball Club, but at the same time, the Brisbane Bandits was around the corner, and that had my interest. I was like, man, there's some great baseball here in Queensland being played, and just to be able to be featured on that team would be an honor. And Redlands gave me the opportunity to play for the Brisbane Bandits, and it's just been phenomenal to be able to play. And then I actually had the opportunity to come back to play 2 years later for the Brisbane Bandits. Mark Reedy reached out to me, David Nilsson reached out to me and asked me if I wanted to come hit some home runs in AFA Ballpark over in Windsor. And I said, you know, you can't turn down an opportunity like that. And I said, let's go, let's do it. Let's try to compete this year for the first playoff spot. Oh yeah, coming to Brisbane is beautiful. I work on my tan. I do that a lot. I just lay out at South Bank. And I turn over once I start to fry, but coming back to Brisbane is beautiful. I mean, the fans, the community is so warming, and they definitely open up to you like their own. So it was easy to say that I wanted to come back. Off the field, I love going to the Sunshine Coast. I mean, it's just so many beautiful beaches here in Queensland and in Australia in general. So I had a chance to go to Straddie. Caloundra was my favorite, walking on the rocks out there and almost slipping, but it was just fun. But just being in Brisbane is just one of the features in itself. Baseball is great, but just actually being around the community is beautiful. Well, it actually just kind of happened. I missed hitting for the cycle by a home run in Perth, and that was kind of, you didn't want to think about it, but then you thought about it. Then you asked yourself, could this be it? Am I going to finally hit for the cycle? Because I've always come close, and it always comes down. Actually, it doesn't always come down to the home run. It usually comes down to the triple, because I'm not the fastest guy on land. But this time it came down to the home run. So my last at bat, I actually walked up to the plate, and I had one thing on my mind. The wind was blowing in, but at that particular time I didn't care. I'm swinging for it. I got a good hold of the ball. I skied it, went up a long way straight up, and went straight to the shortstop's glove. But hey, it was fun. Went 3 for 4, had 3 RBIs. It was just a beautiful game. But another highlight I would say is hitting a home run right-handed in the first home series of the year. That was just good to have everybody there. Opening day here at the ballpark, and then I hit a right-handed home run that went over the big plasma board and right, and my family was watching and tuning in, so that was a highlight for me as well. Well, I would say not be afraid to ask questions. You know, a lot of people, and especially kids, they have the interest to become a professional, but really don't know how to get there, but a little timid or shy to ask questions. The only way you're going to get to an answer is by asking questions. Answers just don't fall out the sky. So just, buck up, have a backbone and say, you know what, I'm going to ask these questions, and that's what's going to take to get there. Read more books. Become more mentally sound when it comes to baseball. Study the game just like you would study for something in school. Take the time to study your craft. I mean, the more you understand up here, the easier it'll be physically. So just ask questions and study the game. The best piece of advice that I love to take to practice is, a coach told me at Cardinal spring training, do you want to know how to get better as a hitter? And I said, of course. That's kind of rhetorical, right? And he says, well, okay, here he is. Make sure you remember this. If you want to get better as a hitter, pretend that you are a pitcher, and how would you get CJ Beattie out? I said, oh, well, that's easy. And just throw him hard in, soft away hard in. He said, there you go. That's what you need to work on. You need to work on asking yourself, what are your weaknesses, and then working on those. And going back to your strengths so they won't become your new weaknesses. But at the end of the day, a lot of people don't look at it from that perspective. Asking yourself, how would you get yourself out? And ever since I was asked that, I understand when I go to practice, okay, I start off usually by saying, okay, how would I pitch CJ right now? Because things change in baseball. You could be hitting the inside pitch good one day, and then the next day it could be looking like grain of rice coming in there. So you just have to continue to ask yourself that question to get better. I say everyday life, my role models, I think my role models was my father, everyday life. He was a truck driver, drove the 18-wheeler trucks, and just to see how, regardless of how he felt, a job had to be done, and he went to go do the job, and being a truck driver, I don't think is the number one wanted job in the world, especially when you have a family that you want to see. But just to see his dedication, hard work, and him to continue to keep his smile and go out the door every day to drive the truck for his family, I think that really did motivate me, and still does today, motivate me to be a better person and to keep a positive attitude like that. Just because you got to have a great attitude in sports. You got to have a great attitude in life, but especially when it comes to baseball, when it's a game of failure, your attitude is really going to affect your production. So keep a great attitude. My on-field was Ken Griffey Jr. I remember I tell the story all the time how I was 8 years old, sitting at home in the kitchen, eating a nice cold bowl of Cinnamon Toast Crunch cereal, and just to watch his highlights on TV and to see him and with that majestic batting stance that he had with the little wiggle and everything. I think at that time everybody in my little league, girls, softball, baseball, t-ball, everybody was doing the wiggle to try to hit home runs. But that was my idol growing up because I fell in love with the home run because I was just trying to figure out how in the world did he hit it that high, that far, and that's what I wanted to be. I think the toughest thing is staying positive because it's baseball's a game of failure, and you want to do so well all the time. And sometimes we forget to have fun because if you're not having fun anymore, those pitfalls that you fall in baseball, you'll stay down in the dumps a long time. You'll be in slumps a long time. You got to go back to having fun and relaxing. And I think that's the most difficult thing about playing professional baseball or playing baseball as general is understanding that you must have fun and it's a game of failure. Just go out there, have fun, be loose, and just stay mentally tough and positive. Because that's one of the big leaguers at the St. Louis Cardinals told me the quickest way out of a slump is by thinking positive. If you're not thinking positive, then you're wasting your time going to practice. You can practice until you turn red in the face, until you have blisters on your hands, but if you don't have a positive attitude, all that's for nothing. I think the guys that really, well, first of all, the guys that make it to the big leagues are the ones. Well, Tony, I'll start off by saying this. Tony La Russa in spring training with the Cardinals really introduced the facet of mental toughness. Mental toughness to us. Albert Pujols spoke to us before he got traded to the Angels about mental toughness. Chris Carpenter, Adam Wainwright came in and talked about mental toughness. They didn't all share the same topic, but once you broke each and every speech down, it was talking about how mentally prepared they were for every game, every practice, and how they prepared every single day heading to the ballpark. Mentally, what did they want to work on? If they didn't work on it well, they got to look at video and just make sure mentally that they have a plan of attack before going into anything in baseball that they do. And I was just like blown from that, because this whole time I thought it was about ability. I thought it was about, you know, the fastest, the strongest, who can hit the most, or blah, 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 you know. Yeah, I work hard, but I had no idea that it was really that focused on between the ears until you heard big leaguers say that. And once they broke that down, I was able to understand that that's what separates a big leaguer from a minor leaguer from a college player from high school and on down, is how well they are developed between the lines. Because I'm just as strong as a major leaguer is. I hit the ball out of any ballpark, and I feel comfortable. I hit the ball out of any ballpark in the big leagues. But what separates me is my lack of experience to gain more knowledge through the brain up there. You have some freakish athletes, you know, your Bryce Harpers that it just clicks for, but you know, on average, it takes experience and asking a lot of questions to learn more, to take this to another level so you can think more like a big leaguer. Oh, it's very tough. I remember my rookie season, my first full season for the St. Louis Cardinals. I played in Quad Cities, Iowa, and once again, I thought it was about ability. You show up, you know, play your Xbox late at night, show up to the field, don't worry about your diet, don't do anything, eat whatever you want, and it's okay, I'm just playing baseball. No, you can't do that. You definitely have to prepare. Once again, you see that word preparation comes. You have to prepare your body for battle. You know, they say it all the time, like your body is like a Ferrari. You wouldn't put water in the petrol tank, because at the end of the day, it's going to break down. You ain't going to go nowhere. No matter how good your car looks on the outside, you can't put water inside. It has things that it needs to perform at a higher level. So that's something that I was like, oh man, I wish I would have learned this at an early age. I wish I would have learned this at the junior's age, or a lot younger, so I can start to prepare my body for the rigors of baseball. So baseball's tough, so you got to make sure you take care of your body. You got to make sure you eat right, you get your proper rest, make sure you practice, because a lot of people practice when coach calls practice. And then if he doesn't call practice, they don't touch a baseball or glove or throw or do anything, but they expect big things out of baseball. And when they don't get it, they're confused. But you're only going to get out of baseball what you put in. So if you only put in 2 days a week, then you're only going to get 2 days of production. I have a motto that I tell at my camps. The motto is 100 swings a day keeps the slumps away, you know. And people say, well, I don't have a batting cage at home, or I don't have somebody that can throw me batting practice. I just, you know, I live in a unit where, you know, I don't have space. And at the end of the day, it goes back to the old saying, where there's a will, there's a way. You know, you could take dry swings. Mental reps are just as good as physical reps hitting a baseball. Go outside and envision that there's 50,000 people out there. Step in the box, step out, get your batting gloves, do your whole routine. You know what a good swing feels like. You know when you know what a swing feels like when you drop your shoulder. So go out there and envision. Take what I do. I'll go and I'll put my Dre beats on, my headphones. I have me some good music on, and I really will step out there, whether it's cold, I'll put stuff on, or whether it's hot, and I'll go through my whole routine and just keep that feel and that rhythm in my hand. And I would just take swings in increments of like 3. Just take 3 good swings, 3 quick swings, and make sure my balance is right, and I'll step out just like there's a game, just to keep my body in tune with this is how it feels when there's a game on. And I usually do that every day, regardless if it's inside the house or if I just step right outside in the backyard, or you can do top hand drills. You don't really need somebody to get better. You can get better every single day, whether you swing a bat, read a book, look at YouTube videos of other Major League Baseball players, calling a mentor of yours, just asking coach a question over the phone, emailing somebody. I get emails all the time about, you know, hey CJ, what can I do next? So at the end of the day, the ball's in your court if you want to get better or not. So.